All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Sabbath. I think I got my microphone fixed now. Had it turned the wrong direction, so should be able to hear better. I'm going to read the Assumption of Moses. It is a very interesting text found. I read it in here. R.H. Charles Pseudepigrapha. I found a copy on the web here. The archive, I left a link to it. If you look down here, archive.com. So I got it zoomed in, and let's check it out. Translated from a Latin 6th century manuscript, the unamended text. Get it where you can see it. Of which is published herewith together with the text in its restored and critically amended form. R.H. Charles did a lot of good work. This is 1897. Put to my father and mother. It says, written in Hebrew shortly after the beginning of the Christian era, this book was designed by its author to protest against the growing secularism of the Pharisaic party through its fusion with political ideals and popular messianic beliefs. Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll check it ourselves. So we go down here. Skip over the notes. Lots of notes. Author notes. Yeah, R.H. Charles is very thorough in his notes. The book I got here is loaded with notes. Let's see. Come on. Where you at? What am I, 53 pages in? Let's see. Page down. The date. Yeah. Get to the writing. There we go. Assumption of Moses. And there we go. So chapter 1. It came to pass in the 120th year of the life of Moses. That is. And you'll see here is the writing. Over here I can't really highlight it, but I'll kind of run over it. This is the writing, and everything below that is notes of the author. Interesting thing to note, he has noted here the Assumption of Moses 2500 after creation. That's Anno Mundi. Book of Jubilees puts them entering the Promised Land at 2,400 years. You might as well say after Adam was created. Josephus puts it at 2550. Samaritan Pentateuch puts it at 3309. LXX puts it at 3859. So I lean more towards the Book of Jubilees being correct. So the Assumption of Moses is pretty close to the Book of Jubilees. And a note that R.H. Charles has here is the Masoretic chronology sets down 2706. But that's not anywhere in here. So in the 2500th year from the creation of the world, so got a year 2500 instead of 2450 like Jubilees, that he called to him Joshua the son of Nun, a man approved of Yahuwah, that he might be the minister of the people and of the tabernacle of the testimony with all its lots more author notes. holy things, and that he might bring the people into the land given to their fathers, that it should be given to them according to the covenant and the oath which he spake in the tabernacle to give it by Joshua, saying to Joshua these words, Be strong and of good courage according to thy might, so as to do what has been commanded, that thou mayest be blameless unto Yah. So saith Yahuwah of the world. For he hath created the world on behalf of his people, but he was not pleased to manifest this purpose of the creation from the foundation of the world. And we see that over and over again, that he created on behalf of his people. If you look at, where's that? Second Ezra 6:59. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? Let's see, 59. So let me pull up Septuagint. Where you at? Let's see, that's not in there. Your sacred text has Second Ezra 6. Chapter 6 has 59. This has 22. Yeah, that's not right. That would be First Ezra. That it? 14. 6. That's King James. For Ezra. Where's it at? Pseudepigrapha, Fourth Ezra. I guess the Apocrypha King James works, but it's not the best translation. But it matches up. It's in there, probably chapter 7, I think, too. And in order that the Gentiles might thereby be convicted, yea, to their own humiliation, by their arguments convict one another. Accordingly he designed and devised me, and he prepared me before the foundation of the world, that I should be the mediator of his covenant. So he prepared Moses before the foundation of the world? Or no, that would be the Messiah, the mediator of the covenant. And now I declare unto thee that the time of the years of my life is fulfilled, and I am passing away to sleep with my fathers, even in the presence of all the people. And receive thou this writing, that thou mayest know how to preserve the books which I shall deliver unto thee. This is the very interesting part that I noticed in this book here. And thou shalt set these in order, and anoint them with the oil of cedar, and put them away in earthen vessels, in the place which he made from the beginning of the creation of the world, that his name should be called upon until the day of repentance, and the visitation wherewith Yahuwah shall visit them in the consummation of the end of the days. Did he just say Dead Sea Scrolls? Thou shalt set these in order, Receive thou this writing, that thou mayest know how to preserve the books which I shall deliver unto thee. Thou shalt set these in order, and anoint them with the oil of cedar, and put them away in earthen vessels, in the place which he made from the beginning of the creation of the world, that his name should be called upon until the day of repentance and the visitation wherewith Yahuwah shall visit them in the consummation of the end of the days. That's what I got out of that. And now they will go by means of thee into the land which he determined and promised to give to their fathers, in which thou shalt bless and give to them individually, and confirm unto them their inheritance in me, and establish for them the kingdom, and thou shalt appoint them prefectures according to the good pleasure of their master in judgment and righteousness. And it will come to pass in the 6th year after they enter into the land, that thereafter they shall be ruled by chiefs and kings for 18 years, and during 19 years the 10 tribes will be apostates, and the 12 tribes will go down and transfer the tabernacle of the testimony. Then the Elohim of heaven will make the court of his tabernacle and the tower of his sanctuary, and the 2 holy tribes will be there established. But the 10 tribes will establish kingdoms for themselves according to their own ordinances, and they will offer sacrifices throughout 20 years, and 7 will entrench the walls, and I will protect 9, but 4 will transgress the covenant of Yahuwah, and profane the oath which Yahuwah made with them, and they will sacrifice their sons to strange gods, and they will set up idols in the sanctuary to worship them, and in the house of Yahuwah they will work impiety. And it's interesting, the notes here. Designate 20 sovereigns of Judah from Rehoboam onward, including Athaliah. Engrave every form of beast, even many abominations. In those days a king from the east will come against them, and cover their land with his cavalry, and he will burn their colony with fire together with the holy temple of Yahuwah, and he will carry away all the holy vessels, and he will cast forth all the people, and he will take them to the land of his nativity. Yea, he will take the 2 tribes with him. Then the 2 tribes will call upon the 10 tribes, and will be indignant as a lioness on the dusty plains, being hungry and thirsty. And they will cry aloud, righteous and holy is Yahuwah, for inasmuch as you have sinned, we too in like manner have been carried away with you, together with our children. Then the 10 tribes will mourn on hearing the reproaches of the 2 tribes, and they will say, what have we done unto you, brethren? Surely this tribulation has not come on all the house of Israel. And all the tribes will mourn, crying unto heaven, and saying, Elohim of Abraham, Elohim of Isaac, and Elohim of Jacob, remember thy covenant which thou didst make with them, and the oath which thou didst swear unto them by thyself, that their seed should never fail in the land which thou hast given them. Interesting, he notes Testament of the 12 Patriarchs here. And the oath that their seed should never fail in the land. Apocalypse of Baruch. They will remember me, saying in that day, tribe unto tribe, and each man unto his neighbor. Is not this that which Moses did declare unto us in prophecies, who suffered many things in Egypt, and in the Red Sea, and in the wilderness during 40 years, and assuredly called heaven and earth to witness against us, that we should not transgress his commandments, in the which he was a mediator unto us? Behold, these things have befallen us after his death, according to his words, and according to his declaration, as he declared to us at that time. Yea, behold, these have taken place, even to our being carried away captive into the country of the east. That's odd. I thought Babylon was west of Israel. Transgress heaven and earth to witness. Deuteronomy 4:26, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day that you shall soon utterly perish from off the land whereunto you go over Jordan to possess it. You shall not prolong your days upon it, but you shall utterly be destroyed. And Yahuwah shall scatter you among the nations. You shall be left very few in number among the heathen, whither Yahuwah shall lead you. There shall you serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek Yahuwah thy Elohim, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul. When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to Yahuwah thy Elohim, and shall be obedient unto his voice. For Yahuwah thy Elohim is a merciful Elohim. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers which he swore unto them. It is that's 1-2 right there. Brought forth out of the nations. After many days, Ezekiel 38, thou shalt be visited in the latter years. Thou shalt come into land that is brought back from the sword, is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which has always been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Jeremiah 16. There. Yep, Jeremiah 16:14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that it shall no more be said that Yahuwah liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. No more first Exodus. But Yahuwah liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahuwah, and they shall fish them, and after I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. For mine eyes are upon all their ways, they are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land, they have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. O Yahuwah, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. Behold. Hey, look, I can highlight it. Behold, these things have befallen us after his death, according to the words. Carried captive to the east. Not transgress. who will be also in bondage for about 70 and 7 years. Then there will enter one who is over them, and he will spread forth his hands and kneel upon his knees and pray on their behalf, saying, Master of all, King on the lofty throne, who rulest the world, and didst will that this people should be thine elect people, then indeed thou didst all that thou shouldst be called according to their Elohim, according to the covenant which thou didst make with their fathers, and yet they have gone in captivity into another land with their wives and their children, and around the gates of strange peoples, and were there is great vanity. Regard and have compassion on them, O Master of heaven. Then Yahuwah will remember them on account of the covenant which he made with their fathers for about 70 and 7 years. Sounds like the southern kingdom. Ezekiel 4. On their right side, bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I appointed thee each day for a year. The Ezekiel, where you at? Ezekiel 4. Yeah, 40 days, day for a year. Then there, let's see, where was that? Yet they have gone into captivity into another land with their wives and their children around the gates of strange peoples, where there's great vanity. Covenant with their fathers. He will manifest his compassion in those times also, and he will put it into the mind of a king to have compassion on them, and he will send them off to their land and country. Then some portions of the tribes will go up, and they will come to their appointed place, and they will entrench the place, renewing it. And the two tribes will continue in their prescribed faith. So that's when Ezra and Nehemiah come back. Sad and lamenting, because they will not be able to offer sacrifices to Yahuwah of their fathers. And the Ark of the Covenant's already gone. And the 10 tribes will increase and multiply among the Gentiles during the time of their captivity. That'd be the northern kingdom. And when the times of chastisement draw nigh, and vengeance arises through the kings who share in their guilt and punish them, they themselves will be divided as to the truth. Wherefore it hath come to pass, they will go ye to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Matthew 10:6, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Matthew 15:24, but he answered and said, I am not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They will turn aside from righteousness and approach iniquity, lawlessness. They will defile with pollutions the house of their worship, and they will go whoring after strange gods, Christmas trees and Sundays and Easter bunnies. For they will not follow the truth of Yah, but some will pollute the altar with the very gifts which they offer to Yahuwah, who are not priests but slaves, sons of slaves. And many in those times will respect the persons of the rich, and receive gifts, and rest judgment on receiving presents. And on this account, the colony and the borders of their habitation will be filled with lawless deeds and iniquities. They will forsake Yahuwah. They will be impious judges. They will be ready to judge for money as each may wish. It looks like it was. Then there will be raised up unto them kings bearing rule, and they will call themselves high priests of Yah. They will surely work iniquity in the Holy of Holies, and an insolent king will succeed them, who will not be of the race of the priest, a man bold and shameless, and he will judge them as they shall deserve. And he will cut off their chief men with the sword, and will destroy them in secret places, so that no one may know where their bodies are. He will slay the old and the young, he will not spare. Then the fear of him will be bitter unto them in their land, and he will execute judgments on them as the Egyptians executed upon them during 34 years, and he will punish them. He will beget children who succeed, and him will rule for shorter periods. Into their parts cohorts, and a powerful king of the west will come, who will conquer them, and he will take them captive, and burn a part of their temple with the fire, and will crucify some around their colony. This must switch back to the southern kingdom now. The second temple. And when this is done, the times will be ended. In a moment, the second course will be ended. The 4 hours will come. They will be forced. Missing text. Must have been important. And in the time of these scornful and pious men will rule, saying, that they are just, and these will conceal the wrath of their minds, being treacherous men, self-pleasers, dissemblers in all their own affairs, and lovers of banquets at every hour of the day, gluttons, gourmets. That sounds like the Pharisees. Lovers of banquets. Happy Sabbath, Ken. Matthew 23:6, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts and the chief seats in the synagogues. Lovers of banquets. Devourers of the goods of the poor, saying that they do so on the ground of their justice, but in reality to destroy them. Complainers, deceitful, concealing themselves lest they should be recognized. Impious, filled with lawlessness and iniquity from sunrise to sunset. Definitely the Pharisees here. Devours of the goods of the poor. Where's it at? Well, I'm pretty sure you said that in there. Where's that? Make pretense on prayer. There we go. Matthew 23:14. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses, and for pretense make long prayer. Therefore you shall receive the greater damnation. Shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for you neither go in yourselves, neither suffer you them that are entering to go in. Yep. Impious. Yep. Saying, we shall have feastings and luxury, eating and drinking, yea, we shall drink our fill, we shall be as princes. And though their hands and their minds touch unclean things, yet their mouth will speak great things. And they will say, furthermore, do not touch me, lest thou shouldst pollute me in the place where I stand. There will come upon them a second Matthew 23:25 he's got quoted here. That's what we just looked up, isn't it? 23 6. No. Matthew 23:25. Yeah, that one. Matthew 23:25. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Thank you, R.H. Charles. Yep, extortion and excess. Also says Sadducees in the Psalms of Solomon. Might be interesting to check out. Come not near to me, for I am holier than thou. Isaiah 65:5. That's the one I was looking for. Isaiah 65:5. Which say, stand by thyself, come not near to me, for I am holier than thou. These are smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day. Which eat swine's flesh. No, I don't think the Jews eat swine's flesh. They at least got that part right. Visitation and wrath, such as not fall on them from the beginning until that time in which he will stir up against them the king of the kings of the earth, the one that ruleth with great power, who will crucify those who confess to their circumcision. Those who conceal it, he will torture. See, moral, certainly. Yep, Constantine. He outlawed the Sabbath. I'm surely he went after the circumcised. King. This title is used of Nebuchadnezzar in Ezekiel 26:7, Daniel 2:37, and of Artaxerxes in Ezra 7:12. Title peculiar to Oriental despots, hence it is aptly used here of Antiochus IV. Antiochus forbade circumcision. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Deliver them up to be bound and led into prison, and their wives will be given to the gods among the Gentiles, and their young sons will be operated on by physicians in order to bring forward their foreskin. If they don't have foreskin, how are you going to bring it forward? It makes no sense. And others amongst them will be punished by tortures and fire and sword, and they will be forced to bear in public their idols, which are as polluted as the shrines that contain them. And they will likewise be forced by those who torture them to enter their inmost sanctuary, and they will be forced by goads to blaspheme with insolence the name. Finally, after these things, the laws and what they had above their altar blasphemed the name. After the Dead Sea Scrolls, it was taken out of the manuscripts. Then in that day there will be a man of the... Lots of notes. Good grief. Tribe of Levi, whose name will be Taxo, who having 7 sons will speak to them, exhorting them, observe, my sons, behold, a second ruthless and unclean visitation has come upon the people, and a punishment merciless and far exceeding the first. For what nation or what region or what people of those who are impious toward Yahuwah, who have done many abominations, have suffered as great calamities as have befallen us? a second visitation. So the first visitation is when the first temple is destroyed. Second visitation, second temple. Now therefore, my sons, hear me, for observe and know that neither did our fathers nor their forefathers tempt Yah so as to transgress his commands. And you know that this is our strength, and thus we will do. Let us fast for the space of 3 days, and on the 4th let us go into a cave which is in the field, and let us die rather than transgress the commands of Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of our fathers. For if we do this and die, our blood will be avenged before Yahuwah. And then his kingdom will appear throughout all his creation. And then Satan will be no more, and sorrow will depart with him. Then the hands of the angel will be filled. He will be appointed chief, and he will forthwith avenge them of their enemies. For the heavenly one will arise from his royal throne. He will go forth from his holy habitation, and his wrath will burn on account of his sons. And the earth will tremble, to its confines will it be shaken, and the high mountains will be made low, and the hills will be shaken and fall. That's also in Ezra. We got a reference here. Holy habitation. Ethiopic Enoch. Yep. Isaiah 44. Micah 1:3, Isaiah 26:21, Deuteronomy 26:15. A lot of references. And the horns of the sun will be broken, and he will be turned into darkness. The moon will not give her light, and be wholly turn wholly into blood, and the circle of the stars will be disturbed. And the sea will retire into the abyss, and the fountains of waters will fail, and the rivers will dry up. For the Most High will arise, the eternal Elohim alone, and he will appear to punish the Gentiles. He will destroy all their idols. (556), 4th Ezra 556. Maybe that's it. Ezra 556. No, that's not it. Fountains fell. Psalms of Solomon 17. Then thou, O Israel, will be happy, and thou wilt mount upon the neck and the wings of the eagle. Psalm 91. And the days of thy mourning will be ended, and Yahuwah will exalt thee. Now, the wings of eagles, derived from Isaiah 40:31. Let's see what his reference is here. Isaiah 40:31. Yep. But they that wait upon Yahuwah shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with the wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. And Psalm 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of Yahuwah, he is my refuge, my fortress, my Elohim, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made Yahuwah, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling, for he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon thou shalt trample under feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble, and I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. My Yeshua. And it's got 4th Ezra here with the eagle as Rome. And he will cause thee to approach to the heaven of the stars, and he will establish thy habitation among them. And thou wilt look from on high, and wilt see thy enemies in Gehenna, and thou wilt recognize them and rejoice, and thou wilt give thanks and confess thy Creator. Thou wilt look from on high and see thy enemies in Gehenna. That would be Isaiah 66. Got to include the verse before. Isaiah 66:20. Let's do 22. For as the new heavens and the new earth which I will make shall remain before me, saith Yahuwah, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new month to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahuwah. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh. Thou wilt look from on high, and wilt see thy enemies in Gehenna. And it says thou wilt recognize them and rejoice. And that's conflict. Can't remember where it's at, but that's a conflict. Where's it at? Yeah. I thought it was a conflict. Sure, there was a scripture that said that we have seen enough. Maybe not. Thou will recognize them and rejoice, and will give thanks and confess thy Creator. And do thou, Joshua son of Nun, keep these words and this book, for from my death, my assumption, until his advent, there will be CCL times. Just do regular numbers. CCL. Roman numerals. 250. 200, 150, 250. 250 times. 250 times what? And this is their course. It says 7 years or a year week, thus 250 times equals 1750 years. No, I don't think so. And this is their course, which they will pursue till they are consummated, and I shall go to sleep with my fathers. Wherefore Joshua the son of Nun, be strong and be of good courage, for Yah hath chosen thee to be my successor in the same covenant. And when Joshua had heard the words of Moses that were written in his writing, as well as all that he had before said, he rent his clothes and cast himself at Moses' feet. And Moses comforted him and wept with him. And Joshua answered him and said, Why dost thou comfort me, my master Moses? And how shall I be comforted in regard to that which thou hast spoken, the bitter word which has gone forth from my mouth, which is full of tears and lamentation, in that thou departest from this people? And now what place will receive thee, or what will be the sign that marks thy sepulchre? Or who will dare to move thy body from thence, as a man from place to place? For all men, when they die, have according to their age their sepulchres on earth, but thy sepulchre is from the rising to the setting sun, and from the south to the confines of the north. All the world is thy sepulchre. My master, thou art departing, and who will feed this people? Or who is there that will have compassion on them? Or who will be their guide by the way? Or who will pray for them, not omitting a single day, in order that I may lead them into the land of their forefathers? How therefore am I to control this people as a father his only son, or as a mistress her virgin daughter, who is being prepared to be handed over to the husband she will revere, while she guards her person from the sun, and takes care that her feet are not unshod for running upon the ground? How shall I supply them with food and drink according to the pleasure of their will? For of them there will be 600,000 men, for these have multiplied to this degree through my prayers, my master Moses. If he's trusting Yah, I'm pretty sure Josh was not asking these questions. And what wisdom or understanding have I that I should judge or answer my word in the house of Yahuwah? And the kings of the Amorites also will then be emboldened to attack us, and believing that there is no longer amongst them the sacred spirit who is worthy of Yahuwah, manifold and incomprehensible, the master of the word, who was faithful in all things, Yahuwah's chief prophet throughout the earth, the most perfect teacher in the world, yea, that he is no longer among them, they will say, Let us go against them. If the enemy have but once wrought impiously against their master, they have no advocate to offer prayers on their behalf to Yahuwah, as did Moses the great messenger, who every hour, day and night, has his knees fixed to the earth, praying and looking for help to him that ruleth all the world with compassion and righteousness, calling to mind the covenant of the fathers, and propitiating the Yahuwah with the oath. For they will say, He is not with them. Let us go therefore and destroy them from off the face of the earth. What will then become of this people, my master Moses? And when Joshua had finished these words, he cast himself again at the feet of Moses, and Moses took his hand and raised him into the seat before him, and answered and said unto him, Joshua, do not despise thyself, but set thy mind at ease, and hearken to my words. All the nations which are in the earth, Yahuwah hath created as he hath us. He hath foreseen them and us from the beginning of the creation of the earth unto the end of the age, and nothing has been neglected by him, even to the least thing, but all things he hath foreseen, and caused all to come forth. Yea, all things which are to be in this earth, Yahuwah hath foreseen, and lo, they are brought forward into the light. Missing, probably important. And Yahuwah hath on their behalf appointed me to pray for their sins and make intercession for them, for not for any virtue or strength of mine, but in his compassion and long-suffering was he pleased to call me. Numbers 21:7. Therefore the people came to Moses and said, We have sinned, for we have spoken against Yahuwah and against thee. Pray unto Yahuwah that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. Numbers 11:2, and the people cried unto Moses, and when Moses prayed unto Yahuwah, the fire was quenched. Let's see. Oh. Nope. Oh. And for I say unto you, Joshua, it is not on account of the godliness of this people that thou shalt root out the nations. The lights of the heaven, the foundations of the earth have been made and approved by Yahuwah, and are under the signet ring of his right hand. Those therefore who do and fulfill the commandments of Yah will increase and be prospered. But those who sin and set at naught the commandments will be without the blessing before mentioned, and they will be punished with many torments by the nations. But wholly to root out and destroy them is not permitted, for Yahuwah will go forth, who has foreseen all things forever, and his covenant has he established, and the oath which missing. So it's from the Latin, and seems like they made a little bit of some changes in there. Let's see. Look up. Where's it at? One interesting thing, it talked about the oath. The oath. For Q 378, this the Dead Sea Scrolls by Giza Verms. For Yahuwah your Elohim to establish his words which he spoke, the oath which he swore to Abraham to give him a good and broad land, a land of brooks, of water, of fountains and springs flowing forth in valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, of vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey. Deuteronomy 8:7-8, for this is a land flowing with milk and honey, a land whose stones are iron, and out of those hills you can dig copper. Load. Yep. Let's go back to the first one. This, let's see, what is this? They talk about the oath a pretty good bit in here. This is the community. By a binding oath to return with all his heart and soul to the commandment of the law of Moses in accordance with all that has been revealed of it to the sons of Zadok, the keepers of the covenant. Return to the law of Moses. Such an oath would be fully obligatory and might not be canceled. All those who have entered the covenant granted to all Israel forever shall make their children who have reached the age of enrollment swear with the oath of the covenant. The oath. Yep, that is, yeah. Rule for the men of the community who have freely pledged themselves to be converted from all evil and to cling to all his commandments according to his will. That is 5. 1QS. Community rule. Yep. The community rule. I might have to read this one day. So, oath to return to, he shall undertake by binding oath to return with all his heart and soul to every commandment of the law of Moses, in accordance with all that has been revealed of it to the sons of Zadok, the priests, keepers of the covenant, and seekers of his will, and to the multitude of the men of their covenant, who together have freely pledged themselves to his truth, and to walking in the way of his delight, and he shall undertake by the covenant to separate from all the men of injustice who walk in the way of wickedness. Kept the oath. By the name, nor by the aleph and the lamed, nor by aleph and the daleth, but a binding oath by the curses of the covenant. He shall not mention the law of Moses, for were he to swear and then break his oath, he would profane the name. But if he has sworn an oath by the curse of the covenant before the judges and has transgressed it, then he is guilty and shall confess and make restitution, but he shall not be burdened with a capital sin. One of the hymns, that will keep thine oath and will pardon their transgression. The oath. I know through thy great goodness and with an oath I have undertaken never to sin against thee, nor to do anything evil in thine eyes, and thus do I bring into community all the men of my counsel. They entered into a new covenant there. The time is coming when I will make a new covenant with Israel. This is the new covenant which I will make with Israel in those days. I will set my law within them and write it on their hearts. None of the men who entered the new covenant in the land of Damascus, and who again betray it and depart from the fountain of living waters, shall be reckoned with the council of the people, or inscribed in the book from the day of the gathering in of the teacher of the community until the coming of the Messiah out of Aaron and Israel. And thus shall it be for every man who enters the congregation of men of perfect holiness, but faints in performing the duties of the upright. He is a man who is melted in the furnace. Ezekiel 22:22. When his deeds are revealed, he shall be expelled from the congregation as though his lot had never fallen among the disciples of Yah. The man of knowledge shall rebuke him in accordance with his sin against the time when he shall stand before the assembly of men of perfect holiness. But when his deeds are revealed according to the interpretation of the law in which the men of perfect holiness walk, let no man defer to him with regard to money or work, for all the holy ones of the Most High have cursed him. And thus shall it be for among the first and the last who reject the precepts, who set idols upon their hearts, and walk in the stubbornness of their hearts. They shall have no share in the house of the law. They shall be judged in the same manner as their companions were judged who deserted to the scoffer, Pharisees. For they have spoken wrongly against the precepts of righteousness, and they have despised the covenant and the pact, the new covenant, which they made in the land of Damascus. Neither they nor their kin shall have any part in the house of the law. From the day of the gathering in of the teacher of the community until the end of all the men of war who deserted to the liar, Pharisees, temple, there shall pass about 40 years. Sounds like they're a new covenant community. The exhortation. think I already read that one. Pretty good though. That's where the oath comes in. So, all right. Well, it's interesting. Some of it's kind of not sure about, but the big one I thought was really cool when I read the first part. Some of it lines up for sure. And where's it at? 53. They finished with this one right here. This right here. Yeah, first chapter. Receive thou this writing, that thou mayest know how to preserve the books which I shall deliver unto thee, and thou shalt set these in order, and anoint them with oil of cedar, put them away in earthen vessels, in a place which he made from the beginning of the creation of the world, that his name should be called upon until the day of repentance, and the visitation wherewith Yahuwah shall visit them, and the consummation of the end of the days. And before we had the Dead Sea Scrolls, his name was hidden. His name is all over the Dead Sea Scrolls. Holy name, Dead Sea Scrolls. Before the Dead Sea Scrolls, it was Lord and God and Jehovah and everything else. After the Dead Sea Scrolls, I'll search for it in here. The name. Let's see if it'll come up here. YHWH. There we go. 67 times in here. You shall not worship another God, for Yahuwah, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. YHWH. All over Dead Sea Scrolls. Sometimes I think Giza Verms replaces it, so it's in there more often. But yeah, even the biblical, the scriptures that are in our canon have Yahuwah on it. YHWH. 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 No J, no V. All over the Dead Sea Scrolls. So it looks like from this right here, the assumption of Moses, that his name should be called upon until the day of repentance in the visitation, wherewith Yahuwah shall visit them in the consummation of the end of days. And his name was preserved in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Very cool. So, all right.